Hey everybody, it's the Ioniq guy, and today I'm gonna be the Kia guy again. Just a couple days ago, I put out a video with some spy photos of the upcoming Kia EV4, kind of compact crossover, and now, just a couple days later, thanks to carnewschina.com, we have our first look at the upcoming Kia EV5 all-electric midsize crossover SUV. This is going to slot below the Kia EV9 in terms of size, and in terms of styling, it looks very similar to the EV9. Other than the looks, we're also learning some interesting details about the car thanks to this website. So if you want to find out what all that information is, stay tuned. So apparently when cars are getting ready to be released in China, something called the Ministry of Industry and Information Technology kind of shares some information about the car, I guess. I don't know if it's shared with the public or if it just leaked somehow. So according to this article, it says, in China, every car must be approved by the local regulator before hitting the market, and MIIT publishes the list of vehicles that went through the homologation process every month. Automakers aren't happy about it, and it reveals pictures and specs of the cars that haven't launched yet. So I can imagine the automakers really hate that, but I guess if you want to do business in China, that's the price you got to pay. But we're getting a full view of the Kia EV5 in all of its glory. Now, it is supposed to be officially announced about a week from this video going live, so we will find out more in about a week, but let's just dive in and take a look at it. So what we're seeing, though, is that this car, the production version, looks basically identical to the concept that was revealed a few months ago. So the production car must have been in the process of being designed for years, and then maybe they kind of just took a production body, changed a few things, gave it suicide doors, and called it a straight up concept. But you can see the back end looks almost identical. From the side profile, also looks identical. The wheels even look almost the same. The only real difference from the side is on the production you have door handles, and on the concept you don't. So if you've already seen the concept, then you more or less know what this car looks like. I'll have some more photos scattered throughout, but there is some very interesting information in here about production, batteries, as well as the charge port location. So looking at these photos, you're going to notice the charge port is now located on the front passenger fender, right behind the front wheel. Now, this is really interesting. I did notice this in the Kia EV4 photos that leaked the other day as well. This leads me to believe that they are preparing for possibly adopting NACS charging standard here in the US, because that placement would perfectly align with Tesla superchargers. Now, current superchargers in the US versions 1 through 3, this would be perfect for, but with version 4 that's starting to roll out in Europe and will eventually start rolling out in the US, it's going to have a longer charging cable. It's going to be a taller dispenser. So the cable should be able to reach most corners of most EVs. So the fact that they're doing this now is kind of questionable, but it's probably been in the works for a long time. Maybe they'll eventually go back to the back corner. Who really knows? I personally would prefer to see it on the back driver's side fender behind the rear wheel. That's just me. I prefer backing into spots and plugging in, so I would prefer that. But either way, it seems like this might be pointing in the direction of adopting NACS. What we're also learning here, it's going to be 800 volts. There was some speculation that it was going to be 400 volts, but this is going to be 800 volt eGMP platform, McPherson strut suspension, wheelbase of 2.75 meters, which is a little bit shorter than my Ioniq 5. Overall length, 4.6 meters, width 1.8 meters, and height 1.7 meters. Now, one of the other interesting things we're learning here, they are saying that this car, at least in China, is going to be offered with a lithium iron phosphate battery. Now, for those of you who don't know what a lithium iron phosphate battery is, it is a battery pack that is lithium based, but instead of having manganese and cobalt like the Ioniq 5 has, this is more of an iron based chemistry. That means it's going to be cheaper. Lithium iron phosphate also typically likes to be charged to 100%, where NMC batteries like to only be charged to like 75, 80, 90%. They are less power dense, so for the same weight battery, you will have less power versus an NMC battery. Now, this lithium iron phosphate battery pack is going to be manufactured by a company called BYD. They are a big EV player in the Chinese market. They make a lot of EVs over there. So they do have experience manufacturing EV batteries. I'm sure Hyundai is all on top of that because they don't want a repeat of what happened with the Hyundai Kona a few years ago. Now, according to a Korean blog, outside of China, this car will be offered with an 82 kilowatt hour NMC battery, good for 600 kilometers of range, or about 372 miles. That's likely on the WLTP cycle, not the EPA cycle. So once it comes to the US, it'll likely be a lot closer to probably 300 miles of range. So this is going to be the first car that Kia is manufacturing in mainland China and exporting around the world. I'm assuming this means that most of the cars that they do produce in China stay within China. So it'll be interesting to see if it eventually does make its way to the US shores from China. I would imagine they're probably going to look at producing these in the United States, especially for the tax credit reasons. But even still, interesting to hear that. And they're also saying that the pre-sale of the EV5 will start this November 2023. So a lot of information here. Just wanted to share it with you guys today. I like this car. I posted some photos of it on my Facebook group the other day, and the overall consensus is people don't really like it. I really like it. I prefer the more upright, boxy look of an SUV versus the Ioniq 5 that's a little bit more squat and long looking. I prefer this. It's definitely going to have a much more useful cargo space, probably a lot better headroom than the Ioniq 5. You're talking a height difference of over 3 inches here, so yes, the EV5 is going to be a bit taller than the Ioniq 5. It looks like with this car, Hyundai is going directly after the Tesla Model Y. This is going to compare very favorably with the Model Y in terms of size. Charging, it's going to charge faster than the Model Y, so Kia definitely has that going. It's got a little bit more ground clearance, it looks like, than the Model Y as well, so this could be a big hit for Kia. I really like Kia's packaging right now. I really think they're going after this really strong masculine look. It's kind of aggressive, it's kind of futuristic. I think it's what a lot of people are looking for in a mainstream crossover SUV. This is full-on futuristic. This isn't like the retro futuristic look of the Ioniq 5 with all the pixelated accents and lighting all over the place. This just straight up looks more futuristic to me. And I'm all for that. If this car can come in at $40,000 before incentives with at least 250, 270 miles of range, I think this car will be a hit. I'm going to keep it on my shopping list for the future because I do really like the look of it. We will see what the future holds. So yeah, there's your first look at the Kia EV5 before it's revealed next week. Now, if you didn't already see it, I did do a video with some spy photos of the Kia EV4. And if you want to check that out, I'll have a link right here. But anyway, guys, if you liked today's video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everyone.